There are no free rides to the top. There are no free rides to reaching your full potential. You will experience lots of hate, hurt, and disappointment on your way to the top. Reason being, when your mental starts to grow, when your motion starts to grow, and Lord knows when that money starts to grow. Just watch how the people around you start to change and switch up. And then what they'll do is they'll try and reverse it and blame the switch up on you. When really, the whole time, the only problem is they get sick and tired of looking at you. You remind them of everything that they are not and will not do in order to be successful. And that's just it.
Get big with it. Let's go. Let's go. Get big with it. Let's go.
Let's go. Send it again. Send it again.
What's going on? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is TMAX Network, man. We are here doing another Sit Bro introduction. Sit Bro stands for Success is the Best Revenge Overall. And this is a men's health project. I got my man D also on here with me. We're going to be bringing everybody up on the screen. But right before we come up, I want me and D just to talk to the audience just a little bit. So, D, what's good, man? How you doing, brother?
Man, first and foremost, God is everything.
Hey, you hit it on the head, man. We got some visitors, guests, and I won't even call them either one of those. We got some real brothers here today. One of them being family, Mr. Mike Baldon, man. I know this guy over 20 plus years. He brought this to our attention to bring to a Sit Bro discussion. And me and you've been running this Sit Bro. We've been talking about mental health. We've been talking about physical health, and more importantly, spiritual and financial health, right? But today he's bringing the physical side and some information and knowledge. So we're gonna bring him to the stage. Mr. Mike Baldwin, what's going on, brother?
Hey man, what's up, fellas? How you guys doing today, man?
Doing
Good,
real
good,
good,
man.
man. Real
How
good.
about yourself?
Man, hey man, we're here, man. I'm grateful and I'm glad to be in the space with you guys, man.
Okay. Hey man, we appreciate you being here. D, you got any opening questions for Mike? I know you know the topic that we're talking about today.
Yeah, man.
I'll put
I'm
the banner up real quick, let the people see it one more time. But the banner actually speaks for itself.
indeed, man. Man's Health Project, man. And you got the three names right here. We all present, man. The one thing is, men, we do speak a more direct language that we don't need a lot. And the fact that you said when I asked you how you doing, you stated, "Man, I'm here." And a lot of people wouldn't gravitate to that. Some people need more. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is for them. But when you said I'm here, what I took from that was if you only knew how I wouldn't be here. If
Facts.
you only knew how I wouldn't be here. So,
Mm.
what does that mean to you after hearing that?
Hey, you know what, man? I wouldn't even say apprehensive. Anytime you're in a space when you're trying to share information that was life changing for you, you're apprehensive from the aspect of how it will be received. Because what's life changing for you is matter of fact for someone else. I don't know if you guys would agree with that. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna open up and I'm gonna dive deep. And please, if I'm getting too long worded, please cut me off. Okay. I just want to share a couple of things with you. I'm just gonna dive early and bring it current. Okay. But again, Hayes, my man, if I'm getting too long-winded, shut me off. So I'm going to start. I'm going to go back about 6 months ago, November 4th. I remember this. It's a pointed date in my head. November 4th, 2024. It was a Monday night, by the way, right? Sorry to know what it was. Monday night football. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at home relaxing like any other, you know, red-blooded American man, African American man, however you want to categorize. I'm at home getting ready to do what we do on Monday nights, right? I'm at the house, I'm relaxing, I'm getting ready to get into some Monday night football. I was off that day. I'm off on Monday, so I'm gonna to relax. And I'm at home just doing what I do, you know. As the nights started to progress through, started kind of moving through the evening, I noticed my body started to deteriorate. Okay. Now let me back up for a moment and explain something to you. I'm not obese. Okay. At that particular point in my life, I did have vices that I deal with. Um, I worked out moderately, but I wouldn't be the picture of unhealthy at that particular point in my life. Okay. So as the night started to progress through, like I said, my body started to deteriorate on me. All right. When I say deteriorate, my language, I couldn't speak from what we would call normal. Okay. I couldn't move. When I say I couldn't move, the things that we would probably consider normal in an aspect of standing up and sitting down, I couldn't do. But this is the caveat. I was at home. All right. Um, and things started to kind of, digress per se. Thank God I had people around me, family around me to ensure that I got medical treatment. Okay. So the medical treatment consisted of ambulances coming to my home, um, um, sending me to the local medical facilities in the area that I live in, and they start to try to diagnose me. Okay. And when I got there, they was like, "Hey, Mr. Baldon, hey, what's going on?" I say, "Listen, I don't know. The left side of my body is not moving when I say it. Ask it to, or if I try to move." And as you can tell, my language is kind of impaired. Okay. So they did diagnosis on me. The initial diagnosis was a brain scan, all right, which I was diagnosed initially as having stroke symptoms. Okay. But they couldn't pinpoint it because they didn't do the contrast yet, for the lack of medical terminology. I'm going to try to explain it to you guys for clarity. They did a brain image initially without any contrast, without any dye that would actually show any issues. Okay. And my brain showed healthy, functional. There was no issues. Okay. Then they did a contrast where they actually put dye into your veins to show any flow, leakage, or anything like that. And when that happened, they instantly saw right here in this margin of my lower brain, we have arteries on the left and the right side of our head. They saw that there was a blockage in this particular artery. Okay. Initially, the thought process was, hey, you have a blockage in your carotid artery. And if you guys know anything scientifically, we all know that the carotid artery is the death vein. Okay. Thank God it wasn't that, because that was the initial diagnosis. All right. But so when they found out there was a blockage in an artery on this hemisphere of my brain, and that hemisphere, I don't know if you guys understand this or not, that hemisphere controls speech, vision, and some of your overall movement, particularly to the left side of your body. Okay. So I was in a space at that particular moment, right then, to losing my sight, to losing my ability to talk, and my ability to move my left side of my body. You see, I'm raising my left hand at this particular point to give you guys the ideology of what I'm really trying to convey here. All right. But the local hospital I was in couldn't treat the symptoms that I was having. They couldn't treat it. Okay. So what happened was they medevaced me to another facility, which was in Wilmington, North Carolina, which they medevaced me there. I got there. They instantly put me into emergency operations where they did they intravenously went into my groin, grabbed the vein with a tool, went up through my head, grabbed the artery, and pulled the clot that was blocking the artery. Okay. The beautiful part about that scenario, they cleared the artery. Okay, cleared it. Boom. It was all of this time. Keep one thing in mind. I live in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Wilmington is, correct me if I'm wrong, Al, about 2 hours away.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
All of this happened within 45 minutes to an hour. Okay. All of this happened. Everything I just described to you happened within 45 minutes to an hour. So they cleared the artery. They gave me the particle, the clot that was in that artery. They gave it to me. They presented it to me. Hey, this is what was blocking your artery. Okay. I'm sitting in the hospital like, wow. But guess what? My body is not responding. I'm not normal now. Okay. They pulled the clot out. This is what happened to that artery. The artery that had no flow because of that clot instantly went to full capacity. It was flowing. So guess what? It wasn't the artery. It wasn't the artery. There was a clot that busted, that lodged itself into that particular artery. Now, let me give you the significance of that. All right, what I just described to you guys was a stroke. All right, everybody understand that, hopefully anyway. Okay. Normally, what happens in a stroke when there's a clot, two things happen. Either that clot creates severe blockage, rather, where there ultimately ends to be a overflow of blood into the brain cavity. Okay. When that overflow of blood goes into the brain cavity, it destroys brain cells. Everybody understand that, right? Not only does it destroy brain cells, but the lack of oxygen in there also destroys brain cells. Okay. But I didn't have a hemorrhage. So there was no overflow, no blood leakage, none of that stuff. I take that back. That was a minor, very minor leakage, but they pulled the clot out, which stopped the leakage. Okay. I'm sharing all this. I know it sounds severe, but like you stated, my man D, I'm here. I'm here. Okay. And everything I just described to you was real time information, what actually happened to me that particular evening. Okay. Now, when that happened, of course, anybody that's dealing with a medical issue, especially of that severity, life is real at that particular point. You see just how transparent, how easy, how insignificant, how things change just that quickly. Okay. So you're like, whoa. So you like, whoa, man, how did this even happen to me? Okay. So I had a barrage of doctors come in and started asking me a ton of questions. Hey, listen, Mr. Baldwin, were you ever diagnosed with high blood pressure? Were you ever diagnosed with high cholesterol? Do you work out? Do you have a healthy eating habit? And initially, to those questions, our treatment known for 20 or more years, I can answer yes and no to all of those. Most men can.
Mhm.
Okay. Most men can. We can justify how our lifestyles are. We can justify how we move. We can say, man, I got biceps, I'm healthy. No, that's not healthy. Okay. All right. But we're gonna get into that as well. All right. I'm gonna share something with you guys real quick because I want to get real deep into this, but I want to ask you guys a quick question, just the panel that I see right here. I want to ask, and even the panel that can hear me right now. I want you guys to indulge me in just some simple truths right now. I want to give you dive
Well,
into.
Mike,
Okay.
Mike, let me interrupt real quick before you do that because we do have the other brothers here, and
Mhm.
this question posed seems like it's a blanket question that you would like participation from everyone. We're
Mhm.
gonna bring some of the guys that you've brought along with you. I met
Okay.
these gentlemen out at the church, and man, the first thing that I can say about everyone that I met there, welcoming brothers, right? That means they open arms, want to know who you are for real, not just the hey, how you doing, brother? Like how are you or who are you? No, they really gave me conversation. They want to know about me, and the other brothers that came to the men's breakfast that morning. So I'll bring them up one by one, and you can introduce them one by one. So I'll
Okay.
bring up the first brother. You let us know who we got here.
Hey, that's my man right there. Hey, Raymond Sharp. Hey, let me go and put an official name on that. Elder Sharp. Okay. My man. My man. He's a strong brother. All right. Devout Christian. All right. Loves the Lord. Okay. But more importantly, from my energy and from what I perceived of him from the first day I met him, hey, he's about his business, man. All right. And also he's a prominent realtor in his local area right here.
When you say prominent, I already seen come on my Facebook. I ain't gonna put his business out there or tap his pockets, but I saw something that had an M behind it. One of the properties that he was presiding over, that he was trying to get out there to the market and get sold. I don't know if that happened, brother Raymond. I saw an M behind the price tag of one of those properties. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct, man. We just putting our head down, working for our clients, doing the best we can, brother.
Man, yeah, that's big stuff. Big stuff. So kudos to you. All right, man. Next brother we got up, Mike. Who we got here?
Uh, Matter of fact, let me get it. Hey, this my man Tyke right here, man. Hey, man, this is the coolest brother I know on this planet. All right, but guys, hey, but check this out, fellas. When I say coolest, this man loves the Lord, though.
Yeah,
How many people you know that's flat out cool, man, and they just flat out love Jesus Christ, man? You know what I'm saying? That dude
yes,
right
sir.
there, man. I remember the first message that I heard this guy preach, man. I'm sitting here, and the first time I had an opportunity to talk to him after the message, I'm like, bro, you did that, bro. You know, and hear what I'm saying right now. And I hope you guys grab the energy. I'm talking to this brother like, dude, that message, dude, you did that. You know. So my man Tyke, what's up, brother?
You muted, Mr.
What's
Fellas.
going on, man? Appreciate y'all for having me, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, man. Well, listen. Last but not least, I know this brother here by way of his spouse. Didn't know him at all, and like putting face to name until I came to the men's breakfast. But his wife actually is a great friend of a family that I know is a friend of the family that I'm tangled up with myself. So as you can see, we all family here. So this next brother, man, we're gonna bring up Brother Horn. Brother Horn, what's going on, man? Mike, tell us who we got.
Hey man, I'm gonna go and cut straight to the chase, man. Hey, this is a fellow Cowboy fan. This is my dog.
Hold on. In that case, we can go and take him off the screen. We don't need him up here at all.
That's my dog right there. Hey,
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Brother
Oh,
Horn,
boy.
what's up with you, man? How you doing?
Not much, man. How you guys doing, man? It's great to join you. Mike, man, we gotta keep them Cowboys strong, man. Don't let them haters
well,
hate, man.
Gotcha. Well, look, fellas, we came here on the premise of Mike was going through, a story, his story, right? He was going through his story that brought us to this live stream. Some tragedy that turned into triumph because, like he said, he's here, and not only is he here, he's here using what God did for him in a positive manner. And I just talking to him since the incident up to now, he's gotten me to research some stuff on my own to actually go and take that full physical. Even though I'm VA protected, they give me that annual. Y'all, if y'all deal with the VA at all, they scan you. They skim you. They don't scan you. If you don't tell them that something is dire, hurting you or in need, they're gonna go off your word a lot of times, and that's unfortunate. But I went ahead and got that thing done in a thorough manner. So, Mike, I appreciate you for giving me that information, and we're gonna bring it out. You were full fledged into a question and Q&A session that you was about to go into. We'll let you go ahead on and take off with that Q&A session.
hey guys, listen, I just want to share some with you guys just from a simplistic aspect. If you guys would indulge me for a moment. All right, this is a simple task that I'm asking you guys to do. All right, very simple task. Okay. If you guys would indulge me for a moment, would you please stand up for a minute? I'm doing the same thing. All right. And by all means, sit back down. Very simple task. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. Another thing I want to share with you guys real quick. If you guys would, you got a left hand and a right hand. Could you kind of raise your right hand and left hand for me real quick? That's a simple task. All right. I couldn't do that November the 4th. I was in the hospital. I couldn't do it from a simplistic aspect. I had to fight to do it. All right. The reason I'm going to share this with you, I want to basically paint a perfect picture before we get to where we are in regards to the knowledge that we really want to put out there. Okay. That night in the hospital that they asked me to do that last task. Okay. I knew before they asked me that I couldn't do it. I knew it. I couldn't feel the left side of my body. I couldn't feel it. All right. Now, throughout everything that happened to me, a couple of things I want to put in the atmosphere so you guys understand. I never lost consciousness. I never was not aware of what was going on around me. All right. In spite of everything that was happening to me. Okay. They said, Mr. Baldon, would you please raise both of your arms? And because of who I'm as a man, I'm a man first. I don't say this from arrogance. I say this from honesty. I'm not going to let you know that I'm hurting. So I fought. You see the drama in what I'm doing, but literally that's what it was. I pushed my left body to my left side of my arm to raise my arm off of sheer strength. I couldn't do it normally. Okay. So I got both of my hands up and they asked me, and I'm not to trying to sound all Jamie Foxx's here, anybody seeing the series or anything like that. But they asked me to do one thing. They said, close your eyes, Mr. Baldwin. And as soon as I closed my eyes, my left arm dropped. All right. And to experience that in that particular space from a medical aspect, from a health aspect, from a life aspect, that was traumatizing. I'm pretty sure you guys, if you could kind of put yourself mentally there, you would understand what I'm saying. All right. To be in a space where things are normal and you try to do normal activities and they don't happen. Okay. And the reason that I wanted to share this with you guys is when you look at the stats off of what I've experienced into the prevention rate off of what I've experienced, it's alarming. All right. Let me explain to you what I mean when I say that. Okay. Every 40 seconds in this country, 40 seconds, we're not talking about 40 days, we're not talking about 40 hours or 40 minutes. Every 40 seconds, someone has a stroke in this country. Hey, do you have a ticker there in front of you?
Clock.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Hey, if you would, let's count on 40 seconds for a minute. All right.
Okay.
And you guys can twiddle your thumbs, clap your hands, however you want to do this. But let's count on 40 seconds starting right now.
We're gonna start right now and go.
We should do this in training. You remember this, Hayes?
Mm-hmm.
40 seconds. I mean, what, 10 seconds have gone by already?
10. Yeah. That's 15.
Okay.
We halfway there. That's 20.
20 seconds. It's about to happen.
We're at 30 seconds.
30 seconds. They're going through an experience right now.
Time.
All right. Every 40 seconds, guess what? Someone just had a stroke, fellas. That's real time. That's real time. I'm gonna give you another caveat to what I just shared with you. Every 40 seconds, someone has actually had a stroke. We're not gonna count this one off, but I'm gonna give you the information. Every 3.3 minutes and 11 seconds, someone dies from one. That's kind of a big number. I'm assuming you guys would agree with that. Every 3 minutes, 11 seconds, someone leaves this planet because of a stroke. Okay. But this is the caveat to what I'm saying right now. 80% of that is preventable. That's a big number. I hope you guys would agree with that. 80% of that is preventable. Let me give it to you in layman's terms. Okay. There's 86,400 seconds in a day. Okay. 86,400 seconds in a day. So every day, every single day, okay, 2,160 people have a stroke. Every day. 1728 is preventable. Okay. Every day, 463 people die with stroke. Every single day. 370 is preventable. All right. And this is the thing, going through the process I was going through when it happened to me, when I started diving into the research aspect of it and trying to understand, okay, man, how did this happen to me? Because the first thing that we do when things like this take place in our life, the first thing we say is, man, my body betrayed me. My body betrayed me, man. I go to work, I'm this, I do this, I do this. I lift weights one time a week. And no, your body didn't betray you. You betrayed your body. Okay, now going back to what I initially stated to you guys when I was in the hospital, a barrage of questions that was asked to me. Mr. Baldwin, have you ever been diagnosed with high blood pressure? Have you ever been diagnosed with high cholesterol? Do you work out at least 2 hours a week? All right. Unfortunately, with your race, this is something characteristic. Everything they just mentioned to me is characteristic in my race. Okay. And I'm digesting all of this and I'm saying to myself, after I got through that spot where I realized I could have lost my life, after I got through that space, I found out that 80% of what I just experienced could have been prevented. So then I started looking through my life. Was I ever diagnosed with high blood pressure? Yes. Was I taking the medicine? Yes. Was I taking it consistent? No. So this is what fellas do. And I can talk from my space. And then I did research and I realized that most people, when it comes to preventive measures in regards to their health, they justify the reasoning behind it. So I'm gonna ask a panel question to the fellas that's listening to me right now. Have any of you been diagnosed with any type of hypertension, cholesterol?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I have. Yeah.
Hey man, we talking to the right people. We're talking to the right people right now. Now, that being the question, how many of you are consistently taking the meds?
Not.
I'm not. I started back taking mine consistently.
Man, we winning, man. This is Al Tariq, boy. Thank you.
Now I
We finna
appreciate
save
you,
some
Mike.
lives tonight. We can really save some lives tonight, man. Okay. Next
Mhm.
question. How many of us are ever diagnosed with cholesterol issues?
Now, right there, Mike, this is funny because I told you I just went and got the full VA. I went and got my full physical, right? And
Right.
I've never had high blood pressure. I've never had high cholesterol, none of that, right?
Hmm.
All of my tests came back negative, and even the cholesterol. The only thing about it is they did give me awareness that my cholesterol levels have increased some since the last time. They didn't tell me I was on any verge of high cholesterol, nothing like that. They just said that it changed and increased. So here's what I want to say to that point, and then I'm gonna pass the mic. Those brothers out there who may not have the insurance or may not have VA or things of that nature and don't go on a 6 month basis or a yearly basis. Um, if I was one of those brothers, it might have been three,
I'm on,
4 years,
I'm live.
and I never would have gotten the information of your levels has increased. It may have been too late at that point, and now I have high cholesterol. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what I want to say. I wasn't diagnosed with high cholesterol. I just was made aware that my cholesterol levels have increased since the last scan, since the last test. So yeah.
Okay. Well, let me share this with you guys. Everybody, I just shared my story with you guys, and I appreciate the ones that were transparent and honest with their current space and their health. I want to first of all thank you guys for that. Number one. Number two, I want to share with you guys moving forward what is taking place in my life. Okay. Everybody know from my conversation what took place with me November the 4th. Life changes, um, staying consistent with my meds. And of course, when you go through something like this, you're hyper vigilant in regards to your health, which I am right now. So I just recently had a battery of tests. So this is something that you can go through. I had a battery of tests. Okay, blood, urine, all that good stuff there. And everything that I was diagnosed of doing in the past after this recent blood test, everything is normal. And you say, well, Mike, why are you sharing this information with us? Most of us, when I say us, man, I love me some us, man. Anything that looks like me, I love it even more. Okay. But I want to share this with you guys. Most of us, Taki, I'm finna steal your comments. Okay. Most of us, we don't have a plan for our health. All right. We hear things, and what this is what we do when we hear things about our health, because there's nothing impinging upon our bodies to change our mind at the present. The doctor said this, but I don't feel nothing, so I'm good. I figure it out. You said that earlier today, Taki, right? I figure it out. Okay. But when you're
That's right.
diagnosed with something, when you're diagnosed with something and you don't have a plan, you need to make one immediately.
Immediately. That's good.
Immediately. Okay, immediately. All right, because and don't get me wrong. Let me make something very perfectly clear to you guys. Medicine is not lifelong. Medicine is alterations until you actually develop a lifestyle of prevention. I hope everybody understand what I'm saying. All right. I had to change my lifestyle. I had to. All right. Because what happened to me is because just like a couple brothers stated earlier, I was diagnosed with medium hypertension 10 years ago. And they gave me meds. They started me off, and some of you may even understand this when I said they started me off with a water pill. Does that sound familiar with some of you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Very small, a very light pill that control your blood pressure. And I took it for about 6 months and I threw it away. Because you know why I threw it away? Because I was researching information. The information that was given to me is, man, you don't want to take that, man. That's gonna mess around with your vitality. All right. And I remember having the conversation with the doc, said, man, why you not taking your meds? Man, I like to spend time with my old lady. All right. Being transparent right now.
That's
He
real.
said, guess what? He said, guess what? High blood pressure is gonna stop you from spending time with your old lady. Take your meds. All right. And I was like, wow. And I fought it. 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 All right. So I say this: you're not looking at a guy that's 100 pounds overweight. You're not looking at a guy that has 100 vices. You're not looking at a guy that's dealing with a mounds of stress, because I don't. I work with this guy right here. He knows I don't do stress at all. If it's stress, I walk away from it. All right. He knows me. All right. So what happened to me is what most of us in that 80 percentile that's preventable, we don't do, which is actually do the things that's required for us to maintain our health. We got a couple brothers on this panel right here that I actually respect a ton. I respect them in the manner, number one, they God fearing. Number two, that they're purpose driven. And number three, that they represent everything that they stand on. All right. All three of these guys, they represent everything that they stand on. But think about this right here, fellas. Tyke, my man, the money man, he talks about money management and stewardship. How smart is it to be a steward of your money if you're not a steward of your life?
Mm, that's real.
How smart it is to have a plan for your family if you don't have a plan for your health?
Mm.
How smart it is to save a ton of money for that security if you can't be around to enjoy it with them? Is that really smart, fellas?
Nah, not at all.
So, yeah, exactly. So what I'm sitting there talking, and this is crazy. Man, I love you guys, man. Give me an opportunity to even communicate this right here to you guys. I was sitting men out, we talk together. We've been knowing each other for years, and in between selling cars and making a living, we talk. And we was talking about this, and one of the things that in conversation that he shared out to me, we want to touch as many brothers as we possibly can to just put that simple truth in front of us. All right, because think about what I just shared. Just in this small panel right here, of 6 brothers right here, I believe I heard 2 or 3 say, "Yes, man, I have been diagnosed. Yes, man, I am not taking my meds the way I'm supposed to." Did you hear that as well, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
All
Yep.
right. And that percentage alone, just imagine this is a bigger platform,
That's
which we are.
50% right here. Yeah.
Ooh, that's 50% right there.
Mm.
And this is the crazy part about it. Men that look like oh, wow, God is real. This is another fact. 50% of the men that look like me and you, this is what we deal with. 80% of it is preventable. All right. Now, most of you guys that I know personally are in one form, fashion, or another. And one of the commonalities that we have in common from an aspect of knowing each other, all of us are about our business from a monetary aspect. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Oh yeah.
So meaning that the numbers have to make sense. So when the numbers are not making sense from that particular element right there, because think about it. Think about it, guys. When the numbers don't make sense from that particular element, how prosperous can we really be? I hope what I'm saying makes sense. I hope what I'm saying actually dives in. Now that being stated, one of the initial initiatives that we was talking about that we want to put out there, and I'm glad I have an opportunity to communicate with this to some brothers that I love and trust, is this. We wanted to touch as many brothers as we possibly can to start one move. Al Tariq mentioned it earlier. I mentioned it a second ago. How many of us know what our numbers are medically? We know what our bank account look like. We know
That's real.
how much money we want to. We know what we want. How much money we want to spend this week. But how many of us know what our numbers look like in regards to our health? All right. Especially when you start hitting particular numbers in your life. Okay. When you start hitting 35, 40 years old, you don't know what your numbers are medically. You're not being smart anymore, guys.
Mm.
Mm.
Say that again. Say that
So
again, bro.
once you start hitting certain numbers in your life, hey, you know, boy, it's weird when you move through life how life and God folds itself out to you. All right, I'm gonna throw all of us at some point may come up in the church, and you remember this phrase right here. When I was a child, I thought as a child, right? When I became a man, I put away childish things. But to what degree? Some of them, or all of them. All right.
Mm.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. Some of them,
Hey,
all of them.
Mike. I think I
So
think this I think this is a good section right here. We 35 minutes in, and bro, like I can hear the wheels turning not only on the panel but on the people that's gonna watch it live, that's watching it live right now, or that's gonna watch it on the replay, I can actually see the effects, the positive effects that this is having. So if you don't mind, if I can jump in there real quick and introduce this video for us, and then I understand that you got some hot topics and bullet points that you want to talk on, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead on and transition to this video real quick. Um, I came across this video after, like I said, Mike sharing his testimony with me, and which pushed me to go and research. And during my research, I came across this video where it was literally spot on to everything that Mike wanted to talk about, everything that he's been through, and all the numbers to back up the facts and the truth that he was telling about the percentages, 80% being preventable, and then these numbers. So let me go ahead on and play this video, guys. Y'all bear with me just a little bit. I'm gonna bring it to the stage, and then we'll take it from there.
Years ago, I was in graduate school working on a PhD in sociology. And in the library, I came across the report on health of racial and ethnic minorities in the United States. The report showed that African Americans had the worst health profile of any ethnic group in the country. Health disparities cost the U.S. economy $1.24 trillion because people are sicker than they should be and they're dying younger than they should be dying. One of the myths that a lot of people have, and I think misunderstand, is that they think that because African American men have a lower life expectancy and higher mortality rate than every other group by gender and also by ethnicity, that we're dying of these exotic diseases. The truth is that the leading causes of death for African American men are the same leading causes of death for every other group. It's heart disease, cancer, and stroke, the big three causes of death. The reason for the disparities, I believe, is that we live much more stressful lives. And I think there's the normal stress that anyone has, and then you have the additional stress, the cost of the effects of race and racism. And you find racism really in three different categories. There's institutionalized racism, there's interpersonal racism, and there's internalized racism. Institutional racism is the way that society is organized, the way that the structure of society places differential levels of burden on people. We have interpersonal racism, which is the category that gets the most attention, which is bigotry, discrimination, being treated badly by individuals because of your race or ethnicity. The final category is internalized racism. Because they devalue their own lives, because we live in a society that tells us that our lives ought to be devalued, we also tend to sometimes devalue each other. So there is a certain stress associated with just being African American in a society that tells you that your life is not as valuable. If Black men don't study Black men, if Black men don't change the narrative about ourselves, then no one is going to do it. The idea was to bring together a group of Black male researchers who would focus on Black men to help us to change the narrative and improve the lives of our brothers. And there's no way that you're going to have a healthy family if you don't have healthy Black men. What people can do to help this initiative is to, if you're a Black male, take the survey, become a part of this project. Contribute your life experience to the knowledge base that we're collecting so that we can learn how we can improve the health of all of us. If you know a Black male, encourage him to participate. If you love a Black male, encourage him to participate. This is about us, this is for us, and this is to improve the length and the quality of our lives.
Man.
Yeah, bro. That
Wow.
that
Wow.
that brought back a lot of memories for me, man. Because when I was a personal trainer, I would get beyond excited when I got a Black man client. And out of the 15 years that I was a personal trainer, about 10 athletes on a pro level, about 20, 25 high school, middle school, but just regular, average, everyday black man, I had
Wow.
five out of 15 years. That one of the things was that I would push was to prevent that heart disease, you know. And I had one brother, he was 70 something. The dude looked like a champ. Dude looked, I mean, barely anything north of 50. And he said, "Man, you never asked me why I wanted to work out." I said, "Well, I figured overall you just wanted to be healthy, you know." Brother was one of them typical playboy types, you know, single father, kid grown up, Corvette outside, body put together, dressed fresh. So I was like, "You just want to be healthy." He said, "How old you think I am?" I said, "You got to be at least 51." He said, "Man, I'm 77." So you want to know why I work out? I said, "Why you work out?" He said, "Come here, come here." I said, "What? Why I'm leaning in?" I like that. Yeah. I said, okay. Noted. And so it's just, that type of thing right there, that education aspect that bothers me is that I know my father, when I was younger, when I got around 20, 21, my dad was like, "Hey, you need to take your butt to the hospital every now and then to go get checked out." And I can't say that everybody was blessed to have somebody put that message in their ear from time to time. Go get checked out, go get that. I mean, even every now and then, my mom would say something, oddly, but it would be my dad. You get this done, you get this that done, and a couple of my homeboys, "Hey man, you got this checked out, you got that checked out." So relatively, I've been blessed with good health, and I don't take it for granted. But still, I'm not, invincible. You know what I mean? Not invincible, and it could be something where I think I'm doing something right, and it could be something completely different that could set it off. So you have to be in the know, first and foremost. I think we need to promote that. You need to be in the know of one, who you are in that particular situation. When we talk about knowing who you are, it's always coming down to your financials. It's always coming down to your personality. But do you know who you are as a healthy human being walking this earth? One thing you said that penciled something in my brain was how smart is it for you to be fiscally healthy, but you're not physically healthy? And the thing that comes to me is you can't have anything healthy if you're not healthy.
Facts. Mike
Yeah.
Sharp want to say something, Al.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to encourage you all. One thing that I found very helpful, and it actually was very frustrating for me when I discovered that I had some health things that I need to give some attention to. I had to really buckle down on what I ate. I found out, and I realized I should say that I was a stress eater. Um,
Mm.
what I tried to do, I was in the gym a lot. And so I would try to outwork my bad diet, my bad eating habits, my when I stress, I went from, you know, years ago when I got stressed out to relax, I would drink. I stopped drinking and I found I didn't realize that I had substituted, unhealthy eating for the alcohol. So I think as men, when we go out to eat, when we find ourselves celebrating, when we find ourselves doing the things that we enjoy, that we have to really check what we put into our bodies. Some of it is stress, but a lot of it, like you said, is self-inflicted. So I wanted to speak to also the medicine. One thing that I found myself doing, I found myself really trying to find healthy alternatives to the medicine. That's why I got off of it for a while. But then I found myself slipping back into some of my unhealthy eating habits. So I had to get back on it to make sure that I'm not putting myself at a deficit because I'm not feeding my body correctly nor taking the medicine. So if you're dealing with high blood pressure, fruits like cantaloupe is excellent for high blood pressure. Eating cherries, pomegranate juice, watermelon, and making sure that you really are substituting, like especially with sweets. I love sweets. Sweets was my go-to. Slushies was my go-to, and I had to cut all of that out because of the high fructose syrup in it. It's not good for our bodies at all. So in that, I know that medicine is a concern. I too enjoy my wife. I plan on continuing to enjoy my wife. But at the same time, eating healthier, and continue to focus on those areas, to me, made a huge, tremendous difference in how I feel, my energy, and also, the doctors can tell what I'm putting in my body when I go get my tests and my reviews.
Man, that's big when you start talking about those sweets. That's why I dropped my head in my hands. Because listen, man, God ain't finished with me yet, so I still got some vices that I latch on to. Tasting alcohol from time to time. And those sweets is the vice though. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm not a big uh cake eater or pies, but you put a Snickers in front of me, some Reese cups. I'm just gonna be straight up, and we don't think like when you was saying it. I was like, bro, that's the one thing that a lot of us don't even realize because we grew up eating it and just it being in abundance, like big times of the year during like Christmas and and Valentine's Day and whenever the sweets and stuff come into play, we don't even realize it. Like that's one of the killers that we put in our bodies with what you said, fructose corn syrup or something like that.
High fructose corn
High
syrup.
fructose corn syrup, yeah,
Yeah.
bro. I know I got a lot of that that I go through. I'm just gonna be real. I gotta watch that. But I appreciate that part, man. Anybody else got anything else they want to add to what Brother Raymond just dropped down?
It's one thing, and Brother Sharp dropped something out there that was really poignant. Meds are there for a reason, but I want to share something with you guys. If you were diagnosed with high blood pressure, that is not a lifelong sentence of be taking meds. I hope we understand that.
That's right. That's right.
It's not a lifelong sentence. I'm pretty sure in our culture, in our family, and in people that we run in contact with, we run into individuals that's been taking high blood pressure since we were younger than what we are. All right, that's not normality. Okay, once you're diagnosed with something, you're prescribed a med for one thing: to get it under control, to create a healthier lifestyle. Let's let that be known, okay? Because blood pressure medicine over time destroys your body. And I'm not trying to have another discussion here, but I want to kind of put a caveat there so everybody understand what I mean when I say this. When you take blood pressure medicine over time, guess what happens to your blood levels? People are going to start communicating with you from a space of issues with your kidneys, issues with your liver, because your kidneys still have to filter these things out. All right. So when you're taking whatever your blood pressure medicine is, if you're taking it, put it to you like this right here. I've done the research on it. I'm not trying to sound all I know it all, but if you've been taking blood pressure medicine over 2 years, you haven't changed your lifestyle from an eating habit. Okay. Because what happens when you're taking blood pressure medicine over that time, your body is not designed to push that chemical off of you. So what happens with your kidneys, it starts to deteriorate. All right. So you have to understand what the meds are for. The meds are there to control an issue while you change your lifestyle. That's what it's all about. And Sharp laid some things out there, and I've learned over time through people that God has graced me to be in the presence of, that people have shared certain things with me. And hey, man, eating habits are crucial. They're crucial. They're critical from the aspect of longevity. I know we have a tendency, I'm not going to go to the gym, like Sharp said, I'm going to burn this thing off. And there's some truth to that. All right. But it's not longevity truth.
That's right.
Okay. It's not longevity truth. The only aspect to longevity is, of course, a healthy lifestyle in regards to working out, but also a healthy eating habit lifestyle. You have to eat properly, and if we don't push that particular message out there and stand on that, um, you may lose a few people from the aspect of understanding, okay? Because a prescription is not a longevity. It does not prolong your life. It only band-aids an issue. Okay, that's what a prescription does. All right. So when you're on when you've been prescribed anything to remedy high blood pressure, remedy cholesterol, remedy diabetes and you don't change the habits, you're not changing anything. You're just taking meds. All right. And I would like to put that out there from the aspect of clarity. All right. Because meds don't, it saves you momentarily. All right. But you have to change the lifestyle. Now, that being stated, I want to throw it out to you if you don't mind, unless somebody has something else to add before I throw these out there.
Yeah, you going into your bullet points.
Okay. I want to throw a couple things out there and Sharp laid a few things out there from the aspect of preventive maintenance, if you want to call it that, things that you can do differently to prolong your life, things that you can do to ensure that you don't actually roll into those particular spaces that I just mentioned of. Number one, you have to actually, devote yourself to a healthy eating habit lifestyle. You have to do that. I know a lot of us in our culture, we have these high saturated fat diets and filled with sugar and saturated fats and processed food. You got to do away with those things. You have to control that. All right, because one of the biggest minuses, and when you're trying to develop your body, Tyke, I got to steal from you again. When you're trying to develop a body that's as giving glory to God, you can not just work it in the gym. You got to do it at the eating table too. You have to do it there because if you're not eating right, you can go and you can build muscle, you can be the strongest thing in the gym, but you can still be unhealthy. All right. And we see it daily. We see it every single day. All right. So you have to change those eating habits and you also have to change your lifestyle. So one of the things I want to throw out there is this right here. Um, Saturated fats. All right. Got to run away from them. Sugars and salt, you have to run away from them because our DNA, we're talking culturally right now. Our DNA does not process like any other DNA in regards to those things right there. Hope everybody understands that. All right. One of the things that I found that was alarming, and it took me some time to digest this, sitting in the hospital going through medical issues, and people taking a medical issue and then put it into a category in regards to race. That offended me. All right. That truly offended me. I'm like, man, what are you talking about? This is medical. We all human beings. We all bleed red, right? So how can you take this and put it into this box and make it be me? I had a friend of mine, and no shot at my friend because I love him dearly. He had a similar situation happen to him, and he said to me, "Man, yeah, man." Because when I reached out to him, trying to check on him, see how he was doing, he made a statement to me, and it sits kind of sour in my thoughts to this day. He said that, "Yeah, man, I blame it on my dad, the DNA." And I'm like, I didn't get what he was saying when he said it. But as I moved through, do we not hear this consistently in regards to medical issues? We try to attach them to DNA and lifestyle, race, and so forth and so on. Maybe some truth. All right. But this is my analogy of this. Personal analogy. Doesn't mean anything at all. My personal analogy. Information is out there. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Information is there for everybody to wrap their arms around it and to better themselves. All right. So when someone categorizes something about race, I normally think from a space of what are they really saying? We don't pursue the information. We don't read about it. We don't learn about it. Because when you sit and you think about it, off the information I just shared with you guys, just think about the numbers again. And I'm gonna segue into what I really want to put out there. Every 40 seconds, someone dies. I'm sorry, every 40 seconds, someone has a stroke. Every 3.11 minutes, someone dies of a stroke. All right. Every other black person that you meet will experience a stroke. 50% of the black people you come in contact with will have some type of experience or some type of a situation with their hypertension, cholesterol, or cardiovascular issues. These are facts. So when I see that, I have to think, why is it that? Do we not believe the information? That's another segue, but uh, and I have to kind of put my ear on that. So when we were talking about this a few weeks ago, and it was profound, not only because situations happen in my life, but also from the aspect of when anytime someone puts race or category, I'm a steward of my people. You know, what do you mean? It's us? No, man, it's not us.
Mm-hmm. And,
it's
and,
it's it's not. I
nah,
honestly
go
believe
ahead.
I honestly believe that it's about us being in spaces to really put hand to plow to understand what's necessary to do the things required from a health.
Is that just Mike? Everybody else good?
Yeah, I was checking when I saw Sharp down there moving. I got to move in my hand to make sure I.
Yeah, no, he might have got a phone call or something that came through that dropped his
Yeah,
connection or something. But
but he's spot on though, man. Like
yeah, I
it,
want I
it
want I want to I want to touch on that real quick, D, because the testimony I got to give, well, it's actually a part of my story, bro. Uh, Last March changed my life forever. Okay, so last March the third, hold on, the second, third, and fourth, I had my mom with me in Atlanta, Georgia, celebrating her 63rd birthday. We got brother Baldon back on the panel. So last March changed my life forever. Right around this same topic that you're talking about, I had my mom with me out in Atlanta. I had a financial conference, Brother Cummings, and I was out there with a lot of our peers in the industry of finance. And it was her birthday weekend, so I had to kill two birds with one stone. So I told my mom, "Come on out with me to Atlanta. We're gonna celebrate your birthday at the same time I can attend my conference." And then after the day's session was over, we go out to dinner. We can go. So long story short, man, while I'm in the conference, I break my mom off a little something. Her and my sister, so she can have a tag along partner. My younger sister came with her to Atlanta. They rode with me, so they drove 3 hours from Hosty, North Carolina, to Fayetteville, North Carolina, out here in Grace Creek. Parked their car in my driveway and rode with me down to Atlanta. We celebrated all weekend. Her birthday was on a Tuesday, which is March the 5th. So when we got back Sunday, here at my house, um, unbeknownst to me, that wouldn't be the last time that I would talk with my mom, but that would be the last time that I would physically hug, touch, and lay eyes on my mom. March the 5th was a Tuesday. I picked up the phone after she left here on Sunday and went back home. Tuesday, I called her happy birthday officially, even though we just celebrated happy birthday. And then 8 days later, she massive heart attack, gone from here. And if Mike knew my mom physically, you would
Wow.
look at my mom and would think that at 63 years old, beautiful woman, for her physical stature was in health shape. But I didn't know that she was on high blood pressure medicine, and that they had just changed her dosage or changed her prescription. So that alone goes into the numbers that Mike was talking about when he said 50% of the people. So I'm looking at my mom and my dad. And my dad, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and the same thing goes with him. He hasn't had a situation around it, but yet he has, because he's on the medicine. And he's been on the medicine for quite some time. So when Baldwin was going on that, the medicine is not a lifelong sentence. Um, I don't think that our people know that, bro. And of course, that the physicians and the pharmacy would love to keep you on it because it's big business. You know what I'm saying? But our people don't know that you should not be on that thing for forever. Like, I look at my grandparents. This is the last thing I'll say. Then I'll let D take over because he has something to speak on. But I look at my grandparents, man. Yeah, they live. My grandma died at 98, and my grandfather left. I think he was at like 78 when he left. But all my life, I can remember them on high blood pressure, high cholesterol pills. You know what I'm saying? So that's some good stuff you gave us, Mike, for people to just wake up and understand it's not a lifelong sentence. D, you go ahead, man. You have something to say?
Yeah, man, you make me want to get this brother by the name of Michael Jack Jefferson on here, man.
Mm.
Good brother, back home in Houston. God fearing man, one of a kind, and he been dealing with high blood pressure and very active. Every now and then I check with him, see if he's cognitively sound, and here and there, third, catch up with him. But one time I came in the bowling alley, and it was a dark skinned brother, and he was pale. And I said, "Man, you all right?" And he's like, "Oh man, just took my new medicine. They upgraded me." I said, "Hey, no, I'm no doctor in that sense, but I know that's not supposed to do that." I said, "That's not supposed to do that." And he had stopped taking it, and his color came back over the course of that week. And I know I need to talk to him, check on him again tonight, see how everything's been. But that was 2015, and gratefully he's still here. But yeah, man, it's just that the thing you brought up, Al, is the fact that a lot of people don't understand that food is medicine. One of the
Right.
things you were saying
Facts.
was
Facts.
eating habits, Mike, and I always replace that because when people hear it's certain words they didn't already made association to, and so eating habits statistically has been tried to people that's supposed to be making life changes have been tied to negative connotations. So I throw out consume consumption. Something about that makes them feel comfortable versus hearing the word habit behind it. So I don't know what that's all about, but I don't want to find out either. But that's the thing is just like we have to get to a point where we can't make people comfortable about the truth of bad health. We got to make you uncomfortable to a
Facts.
point that you start
Facts.
to say, I got to move my feet on this matter and not just sit there and wish it away because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen from you wishing it away. So, well, go ahead, Mike, man. The floor is all yours again, brother.
You know what? Well, I'm gonna pause for a moment because I think there's some other brothers that would like to add, but I'm gonna say this real quick, and I appreciate the last aspect that you threw out there. That's really what it boils down to: consumption. What you take in eventually is going to represent itself in some form, fashion in your life, good, bad, or indifferent. That's a factor. If you're eating healthy, you're gonna see it. If you're eating bad, you're gonna see it. If you're eating 50-50, you're gonna see it. There's no way around it. And the message that I would like to push, the message that me and Altreat talked about in the spaces that we were in, is to allow everyone to be aware of the importance of our daily activities in regards to our health. All right, because one of the things that happens in our community is, especially in regards to our health, it's always of I'll figure it out, I get to it, I'll be okay, I do better, and the do better is not tomorrow. It's the do better is now. It's not next week. It's not when I get around to it. The do better is now. In our culture, we all have eating habits and that we're familiar with in our culture. All right. And when we sit and we think about those habits in our culture and we have had any experience from a medical aspect in regards to our health, we understand instantaneously our culture has been unhealthy. From an eating aspect, that's what you would think. That's what you would think. Okay. And not necessarily that. I share this with you guys, not to redirect or to kind of like get too in depth with it. I was watching something on television. I am a documentary head by nature. That's just my nature. All right. You ever heard of blue zones in this country? Anybody know what a blue zone is? All right.
No.
These are zones in our country that people average lives. The average life expectancy is 100 years or more. Okay. Average life expectancy in these zones are 100 years or more. Okay. One of these blue zones is San Francisco. Okay. Well, this globally. One of them is San Francisco. One of them is Okinawa, Japan. One is in the mountains of
Costa
Croatia.
Rica.
Co- Costa Rica is one of them as well.
Yeah, I
My
got
man.
it up right here. I'm
Okay.
about to put it on the screen as you
Okay.
talk.
Okay. Okay. But in these blue zones, there's certain habits that take place in these blue zones. All right. Well, these people are living a century. I mean, and living 100 years, forgive me for my math, that are living 100 years or more. Okay. And one of the characteristics that people have, or several of the characteristics that people have in these blue zones is number one, am I still vocal, Al?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Number one, that they're extremely active, extremely active. All right. They're gardening and they're walking. They're actually functioning in their life on a daily basis. They're not sedentary. Okay. Number two, they do not eat processed food, period. They
Mm.
don't eat it at all. They don't eat processed food, period. Do they still eat meat, pork, chicken, but it's nothing processed. They don't eat it at all. Okay. They have a very high um, vegetable intake in their diets. All right. But one of the most consistent aspects of their life is they always move. They're not sedentary. Now, when you take the word sedentary, we can take a look at some of our jobs, some of our lifestyles, some of how we move in life, and some of the things that we do economically. All right, and we can very easily wrap our thoughts and understanding around that. We kind of have what's what I'm looking for, a sedentary lifestyle. Is that safe to say?
Yep.
All right, and that's a first change you have to do. Looking at my little bullet points right here, one of the things that I've noticed from the aspect of regaining your health back, you have to become active. And one of the things I've noticed in the group that I'm connected with right now, especially the brothers at church, I've noticed that these guys have really grabbed the bull by the horn in relationship to actually being active in their health from the aspect of just moving. You know, I get texts, we all get them on a daily basis. Man, I'm in the gym, I'm doing this, and get photos and so forth. That's a plus. That's a kudos. You applaud those things. Okay. The next thing is you cannot have bad habits. All right. And reason I can say these things, like I said before, prior to November voice, I mean November 4th, I had several devices that I would spend my time with. Sharp mentioned one earlier in regards to say, man, when you're out here chasing money, when you sit down, you may get a drink from time to time. That was one of my vices. Okay. When you're out here trying to make a living, you may get a drink and light a cigar or a cigarette from time to time. That was one of my vices. All right. Guess what? That leads to bad health, guys. You can't allow yourself to get involved in those things because over time, think about what I'm saying. Over time, those things actually slow your body down. All right. They feel good at the time, okay, but they slow your body down. Other things starts to manifest itself while you're indulging those things. How many of us deal with sleep apnea? We snore in our sleeps.
Oh,
Okay. You know what? That in itself is a trait to that particular rhythm that we have when we're sleeping. That's a trait to heart disease. Just having that in your life, all
Now,
those
now,
things.
now. Here's the thing, Mike. I'm gonna butt in real
Mhm,
quick because you dropped the 50% stack on us stat on us earlier.
mhm.
Uh, three of us raised our hand with that sleep apnea, but has everyone so diagnosed with it or tested for it? If I would have never been in the military and never got tested for it, I would have never known that I actually stopped breathing 15 times in an hour
Wow.
when they gave me my CPAP. So there's a lot of us, not even just on this panel, that's sitting at home that's going to either watch it now live or on the replay. They didn't raise their hand, but they don't know.
Don't know.
You see what I'm saying? So that's something to think about.
And I don't want to be long-winded because I appreciate the platform. I appreciate the opportunity for me to share. But more importantly, I would like some dialogue with my friends, with some of my new friends. What's up, D? In relationship to continuing some consistent aspect of being able to pass the word, put the
Right.
information out there from a space of, hey, listen, you know, another brother that looks like you. Well, heck, let's be honest with it. Another brother that actually is living life like you. Let's put this information out there. One thing that me and Al3 talked about, Al3, I don't see anymore. I don't know if you're still there or not.
Now I'm here, brother. I just had to
Okay,
handle some business
okay,
behind the scenes. I got
okay. Um, one thing we wanted to put out there was this right here, and I preluded to it earlier. Um, a coalition. Me and Al3 talked, and I'm a visionary by nature. And our initial vision was, hey, Mike, let's start this and put it out there. Let's start the buzz in our local communities. Because just after the one, two, three, four, five, six men that's sitting here right now, 50% of you guys raise your hand to the things that we was talking about. Just imagine if this panel was bigger, how many more hands would be raised? Okay. And off the simple math that we laid out there, which is a factual, truthful math, how many or more lives that will be saved? And the initial buzz that we really want to start it in our own communities. Okay. And that community means, where we are. We all live we all live in North Carolina. Some of us live in Fayetteville, Cumberland County. We really wanted to push that buzz in our community to the point where we get someone to buzz on it, meaning that, hey, listen, let's get the newspaper to buzz on this thing. After we get that buzz there, we wanted to push an initial buzz to something bigger than our local areas, and let's put something into our state area from the aspect of our state representatives and the aspect of, hey, listen, these guys want to really push something out there. Is that something that's far-fetched? No. Is that
Nah,
something
because the
that's
video that we just watched, that's how that gentleman got on stage. I researched that project, and that's where the men's health project that we're doing right now came from, as you saw on the screen, Black Men's Health Project. And that gentleman literally, he started that thing, and it spread because of people like us that first of all had an open ear to it and participated in it. Secondly, they pushed it like he said in there, you invite a brother to the conversation, and then as each brother continues to invite somebody to the conversation, it spreads on its own.
so I have a question to the panel that we have here tonight. Just want to get some feedback on your opinion. So the floor is open. If you don't mind me saying this, Al, the floor is open because I've talked, Al Tariq has talked, Brother Sharp is chimed in, my man D has chimed in. I want to just get some feedback from the rest of the brothers in regards to the information that's been put out there in front of you guys.
So I'll jump in here and certainly echo what I've been hearing and understanding how valuable this information is to really understand because we, as men, we know a lot, we know it all, and we don't know much.
There you go.
Truth be told, I think it was what Coach John Wooden has said. After it's what you learn after you know it all that counts. And so being in position to really to receive is most important because as men, naturally, we are in the leadership role. So we have to kind of know things. Our wife will look to us. What do I do for this? What do I, our kids come to us. What should I, but where do we go when we don't know? Or things that we need to learn and figure out. And so, I think in this season, I'm really learning to lean into healthy habits. And Sharp mentioned earlier, just the eating is the most important. They say you can't outwork a bad habit or a bad eating habit. So, kind of what we, as Brother D said, consume is so important. And so that's something that I'm learning and continuing to grow in that and just, I'm trying to ensure that I'm physical, remain physical and active daily, but I also need to make sure that my eating it coincides with my physical attitude or striving to do better on all fronts. So that's really I love this panel and this discussion because it's really challenging me to have that growth mindset and really shift to what really matters and what really counts, not just for today, but for tomorrow as well.
Well, man, I would say that uh, just being here and listening tonight, man, that knowledge is key. If we don't know, then we just don't know. And one of the things that my wife was talking to me about was she's really been on me about being healthy and getting healthy because I work in the fast food industry, so I'm around greasy food all day long and sweet tea and lemonade and everything else that's not good for you.
Right.
So she's starting to get me into the habit of of taking get me some ice, give me some bottled water and freezing them up and just taking them with me. So while I'm at work, I can let the water thaw out and I have me some nice cold ice water while I'm working to keep from being dehydrated. And but one of the things that she said to me today, after listening to Heather Cummings' message, we were talking about you know uh, each other and our love for each other and so forth and so on. And she was telling me, she said, I was telling her, I said, Dean, eating eating healthy, man, that's costing. And man, and then she said, but is it worth your life? Is
Mm,
it is it no? Is it worth me losing you because we don't
mm,
want to pay an extra dollar something for a healthy meal or to go to a healthy restaurant to because if everyone is on this panel, we're black and we like fried chicken and we like macaroni and cheese and we like we like that southern food. That's just what we like. She's made it she's made it her purpose to keep me accountable to eat healthy because she want me around for a long time.
I don't know about
And
y'all.
like you said, man, like you said, man, if us men are not healthy, our families, I no, our families not gonna be healthy. We all got kids, and we want to be around for our grandkids.
Right.
So my wife is really getting me to understand that what I'm saying we got to stop thinking negative. That what we can't afford and what we can't do. Because it's all up here. It's all up here. You know, um, we could budget money for everything else, but can we budget money to be healthy? Can we
mm,
budget money to save our lives? Can we budget
mm,
money? Can we do it the right way for our family? Sometimes you gotta think beyond yourself and say, you know what, I'm doing it for my wife. I'm doing it for my kids.
mm.
I'm doing it so when I get old enough, I could play with my grandkids without having to take deep breaths and tell them to stop.
Right.
Man. So it's great that we have this conversation. I really didn't know what the conversation would be about tonight, man. But it sort of gives me confirmation of all the things that my wife been talking to me about, and all the things that I'm saying through the text message thread with Sharp being in the gym and Cummins being in the gym, and and even Mike, our drummer, or our keyboard guy, being in the gym, and everybody just motivating and just encouraging each other, man. So this is awesome.
I don't
Can
know
I?
about y'all, but me and Al, we didn't swear off chicken, but we got a similar situation with chicken. Our blood type won't allow us to really be around chicken, and it's not that chicken isn't healthy. So I've had chicken a time or two, but for the most part, I don't have it. And then when I made the change, and he made the change around, we can see the difference in each other just from staying away from chicken. So you know what I
Hey,
mean?
do everybody up here know what their blood type is? That D said that.
No.
That's a good question. That is a great
No,
question. That is a
Okay.
great
Who,
question.
if y'all don't know, if you find out and you find out that your blood type is one of the most rare blood types, but can be universally used for from a lot of people, from most of everybody, which is O positive.
Mhm.
Um, but when you research that O positive, you'll find out, like D said, because he and I are O positive. If I wasn't in the military, I wouldn't have found out either, right? So, chicken is detrimental to O positive. I'm not gonna lie, D, I backslid on chicken.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that right now. But I don't eat it. I eat it. I ain't lying. I eat it.
And like I say,
I got to come up off chicken again, D.
yeah,
But it's really not good for O positive, and they give the breakdown of why. That's not a good thing. It actually count. It goes. I don't know. It's something that's in our blood that chicken actually fight against, and it's crazy.
right. And it's crazy that Horn mentioned what he mentioned because that's been one of the biggest killers of all things is convenience. That's been the biggest thing. I was talking to somebody yesterday and said, man, I remember when my grandmother would give me a plate. The plate was hot. You know what I mean? And even when we went to the restaurants back in the day, the plate was hot. I cannot recall a time that I went out to eat. Like the food it was steaming, but the plate wasn't hot. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that means anything or whatever, but I just know like we got to get to a point where we're having those gatherings and having real food, and also got to stay away from the stuff that was put to us from whatever background that we was taught. Because I never ate chitlins. That ain't never been a thing that graced my plate.
You said chitlins?
Not. Hey, no, I don't
Man,
mess
I
with
used
them,
to
man.
tear
Never,
chitlins
never
up,
did.
man.
Hey, man,
Hey
boy,
man,
I used to eat them.
I don't know how many whippings I done got with not eating chitlins. I'm like, no, I ain't
well,
none.
I,
No.
Hey, hey, brothers, I want to challenge a mindset about the cost of healthy eating, if we
yes
can,
sir.
real quick. Um, and I used to think that I used to always hear that healthy eating costs more, and then when I started really focusing in on what I needed for my health, like not just eating fruits and vegetables, but understanding what fruits and vegetables were good for certain health conditions to fight against, to help the blood vessels, to keep them soft, to keep them, in a position where they should be. It really costs less to eat healthy depending on what you're getting. And
Amen.
I think we have to be more intentional about where we get our fruit. Not trying to disparage anybody shopping, but personally, I don't get any fruit from Walmart. Um,
Facts.
I like local farmers markets. If somebody's on the side of the street selling some fruit, I pull over and see what they have, getting the squash, getting their cucumbers, getting their tomatoes because it's more organic. And we have to be again intentional with purchasing organic fruit because organic fruit can be better for you. Um, I go a lot of times in the mornings to Food Lion. I get the little cups of pineapples. That's my breakfast. I purchased a whole tray of cherries. I ate that for breakfast another week, a few weeks ago. Like every morning, just grab, as many cherries as I can get, and I ate that for my breakfast. And then doing that, I'm saving money because of the sheer cost of things now, especially when you're looking at, potentially sitting down. Even if you don't do a fast food, if you go to Cracker Barrel and try to eat healthy, those are things that we have to be mindful of. So just personally, I got three athletes in my home that my kids. They run through fruit like you wouldn't believe. I buy all my fruit from Sam's Club because I can get it in bulk and it's good quality, healthy fruit. I get my fruit from Food Lion and I get them from, little farmers markets here locally. And I think in doing that, you can find affordable, healthy options, but you have to be intentional in doing so. And I can
Mhm.
very much say that I've been very fortunate and surprised at how affordable it's been for us to, transition to a healthier lifestyle when it comes
So
to
so
our
you
brother
food.
said,
Sharp, you one of those dads that be screaming out every time I'm in the kitchen, you in the kitchen. Clean
yeah,
up all the
I don't, I don't,
pineapples.
I don't say
Clean up
nothing.
all the chickens.
I let them kids just eat. I ain't gonna even front, man. I just let them eat.
Thought said something that brought back a flashback. My great grandfather, man. I thought I was gonna be in trouble. I was my sophomore year. We lost our playoff football game. I was out there hanging with my older cousins or whatever. They grown. Now, the biggest thing was this man had more guns than the law should allow. I know I done pulled the 357 out the boot. I done pulled the Derringer out the belt. I done pulled the 45 from off the hip. I'm like, yo, this what's going on, my man? So he's like, "What you gonna do today, baby?" So I'm gonna go out with my cousins. We gonna say, "Go ahead, have fun, be back and be safe." I come strolling this 3:30. I was like, "Oh man," he meet me at the kitchen. I was like, "Oh, I'm finna get it." He say, "Baby, what you got there?" I say, "Oh, granddad, this my Letterman jacket." He say, "No, no, what you got in your right hand?" I say, "Oh, this is a banana." He say, "Now where you get a banana from in the middle of December?" Boy, I ain't been right since then. I ain't been right since then, bro. Because my grandma had a banana tree in her backyard. It never bloomed in December.
Mm,
Never. So
mm.
every time I see a banana now, I'm like, I'm cool.
Now, one thing with that, one thing I started to kind of focus on because I like pomegranates personally, and whenever it's not pomegranate season here, like in California, usually in Chile, Guatemala, some of those they ship that stuff in, and you still can
Right.
get organic fruit year round. It just depends on where it's coming from. I would say just make sure that it's organic because it's better for you. Like I
Mhm.
don't, I don't do seedless. If it's a seedless watermelon, I don't do it. I like mine to have seeds in
That
it.
don't even make no sense.
It
No,
doesn't.
Well,
It
it
doesn't.
do. It is a 50-50 on that one. So sometimes that seedless watermelon is just sterile. It just can't. It's not a.
Mm,
It's just not producing. That's all that is. In some cases, some cases it is one of them things that got rolled out the factory.
yeah,
So you just got to figure that out. But there are some seedless watermelons that are truly natural.
So let me
But
ask you a question. Well, I ain't gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna make this statement. The minute I go into a store and buy a carton of yolkless eggs, then I
hey,
know somebody done altered what God put together. You see
hey,
what I'm
hey,
saying?
I'm gonna tell you right now, they got it for you, and they just put it in the little milk carton.
No, no, no. Somebody done altered. Somebody done altered what God put together. If my watermelon don't got no seeds in it, I ain't eating it. Period. I don't
No,
care if it's
I feel you though,
sterile.
but I had to learn. I had to learn because I thought that was the case too until I found out. It was a brother, and he put it out there. He said, "No, D. What ends up happening is they sometimes when that happens, it's just that's sterile." So he said, just like when if you got somebody in your family, they can't produce a child. That's all it is in some cases. But also, like I say, be mindful.
I'm gonna leave that one alone. I was gonna ask a question. Which came first, the egg or the chicken?
The yolk, the yolk was first.
Yo, it's
Nah, I'm
hilarious.
good. I'm good on that.
Man, but nah,
Mm.
I'm thankful y'all brothers came in and came and hang out on us with us on the network, Mike and Al. Man, I really appreciate y'all for bringing this forward because this really motivates me back into some of the thoughts that I was having about really getting some brothers together and just working out. You know what I mean, or just having an exchange, and also learning that man how stress also prevents us from doing things the conventional way instead of just taking it in the convenient way. And so it's just like, man, we got to get this thing really going and to get the fire, the coals on are really hot from the fire, so we can keep it going. Because, like you said, Mike, this is an everyday thing that this is happening, man.
Hey
Everyday
D,
thing.
you were right, bro. I gotta take that back, man.
Oh
Like
no, man, no! You find that yolk, that missing yolk out that egg first.
I guarantee you, I won't eat it. But no, you were right. Right here, it says that there are. It says no, seedless watermelons are not entirely natural. But then at the bottom it says result in ster
Yeah, modified chromosomes.
modified chromosomes that numbers are sterile. So
Hmm.
that is that's some new info. See, we learning stuff all over the place about foods and
Yeah, man.
produce. And but yeah, they ain't gonna find that egg, homie.
Yeah, man. Like I was saying, brother, it really is. It's this is healthy. This is
Facts.
not only just good for my mind, it's also good for my soul, it's good for my body because diet means lifestyle.
Right.
And
One
so
percent.
back to that point of consumption, you know, you what you hear is being consumed, what you see is being consumed, what you think is also a part of consumption, also what you take in through the mouth is a form of consumption. And so just be able to share that to get somebody like you said, man, this is definitely helping somebody. I know firsthand it helped me.
Yeah, well, you said something about this is healthy. We're talking about health, but anytime brothers get together is healthy, whatever the topic may be. Um, just to let y'all know,
Yeah.
TMAX Network is making impacts on a small scale, but people, the word is getting out. And what we want individuals to know is that there's five fatal funnels to life. You got the mental, your spiritual, your social, your financial, and your physical. And that's what we stand for over here at TMAX. So when Mike was telling me about his situation, and of course I'm right there with him firsthand. That's my brother, so I knew what he was going through, and when it was in real time. But when God started to bounce him back, and he started to learn certain things about it, the preventative measures. I said, man, I would love to have you on. And actually it's something that he asked me, but I was already with the open invitation. So last but not least, TMAX Network stands for the Minority Asset Exchange. And minority don't just mean color or race or ethnicity. It means a small amount of people that are willing to come together and have the tough conversations. We have a segment that D and I used to do is called the missing conversation. It started out being titled the under the rug conversation because in families, all across this country, especially our culture, people don't like to talk about certain things. Brother Cummings will understand what I mean when people don't like to talk about finances. People don't like to talk about death. People don't like to talk about health. All of the things are not popular topics that people like to talk about. And we can go beyond that with the under
Mhm.
the rug conversations in families. Certain events that took place in families 40 years ago, people don't like to talk about them. Sweep it under the rug, turn a blind eye, keep moving. But this one right here, like Mike said, whatever you take in is going to eventually show itself. One shape or form is going to show itself when it comes to health. So, Baldwin, man, the floor is back yours. I appreciate you even coming over here with me and D and all the rest of the brothers that showed up, man. Um, it is healthy when we get together and chit chat.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. And again, this is one final thing I want to throw out there. It's not a challenge. It's a mandate I want to throw out there to all of the fellas. And I would like you guys to share this mandate with as many people as you possibly can. You know, I see you, brothers. I will see you guys next Sunday. I promise I will, God's willing. Okay, that's my commitment to my life and my family. You know, that's a commitment that I have. But that same desire, that same energy that you guys portray in that element of your life, I want to throw some out there to you guys. Um, and me and our three talked about this. I asked a question earlier in regards to how many people know what their blood work looks like. I believe what one or two people raised their hand. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right. If you don't do it, and if you don't have the ability to, believe it or not, we have connections where we can connect you to ensure that you can get it done. Even those that may be listening and later on, even those that maybe view this later, we have connections to ensure that you get the results of the information up front so you can know what you need to do. Because one of the biggest fallacies or the biggest flaws of life is I want to fix something, I don't know what the problem is. You can't fix it. All right. And one of the biggest things that I've learned in my personal space, my blood work was a starting point. All right, for me to start it. Hey, Cummins, I'm gonna keep stealing from you, bro. I'm telling you, my
Go
blood
ahead,
work,
man. Go ahead. You
my
got it.
my blood work was a starting point for me to create a plan for my health. Okay, for me to see exactly where am I at? What is my glucose looking like? What is my A1C looking like? How my blood plate is lining up in my blood vessels? Without knowing this information, you don't know what you need to do. Okay. And when you get the information, do something about it. All right, create that plan so you can be healthy. Because I'm a firm believer. I love sit down talking with men. This dude been knowing me for a long time, man. And one of the aspects of I believe I would think that he takes away from knowing me is, man, if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it.
That's a
You
fact.
know, and one of the things that I take away from being that type of person is if I want to be healthy, man, I'm gonna be healthy once I have the right information to be healthy. All right. So I challenge you guys to do this. And we talked about this in our personal space. You know, this is what May 25th. This is the date, correct me if I'm wrong. All right.
Yep.
May 25th. Those of you that don't have the knowledge of your blood work, I challenge you to do it. And I would give you roughly about 14 days to do it. Okay, that's a short period of time in regards to your health. Would you agree? All right,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody has the ability to do that. All you need to do is go to any of your providers. If you don't have a provider, give us a reach out. I have a connection for you. They'll get this thing done for you. I believe R3 has a connection as well. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they'll get this thing done for you. That way you have a baseline to know exactly where you need to go. Because without knowing the formula, basically, without knowing the starting point or the baseline, you don't know what you're doing. Only thing you're doing is taking information and trying to build off of. You don't know if that information even suits you. Some of you may be 100% healthy, but I would put a thought in. There's six of us on this panel. It's actually seven of us on this panel right now. 50% of you are dealing with a health issue that you don't know about.
Mhm.
That's a real talk. That's a real statement. And it starts with understanding where you are from your body. It starts with the chemical makeup of your body. It starts with knowing, getting the test done. Don't get me wrong. How can I say this? I do not like going to the doctors. I can't stand it. I've been like that as a kid. I give you a primary example of what I'm talking about. I'm from Alabama, by the way. Everybody know what took place in Alabama, right? I'm 2 hours away from Tuskegee, so everybody know what happened in Alabama, right? All right. So I was almost 40 years old before I realized I was not allergic to penicillin. But you know what my mom told me as a kid? Every time I went to the doctor, you know what she told the doctors off of precursor? My son's allergic to penicillin. I've never been allergic to penicillin. But you understood why she said that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
It was
Mm-hmm.
just she said it. She said it. And I mean, when the signing up going into the military, the recruit at my house, going through all the medical and going to the MEPS, going through all the medical stuff, they said, and she said it so many times that I'm in going through every aspect of my life as a young adult. I'm allergic to penicillin. I'm not allergic to penicillin, but that's what she told me. All right. Because she didn't know no better.
Mm-hmm. She was protecting you at the same
She was
time.
protecting me in her own space. I hope everybody
Mm-hmm.
understood what I was saying. But
Mm-hmm.
guess what? Instead of protecting yourself in your own space, know where you are in your own space.
Mm-hmm.
Go get your blood work done. All right. And I challenge you guys to go do it, because once you do it, you know exactly where you are. You know exactly what level you are. You know exactly what you need to do. You know exactly what plan, Taiki, that you need to put in place to ensure that you can actually be, or do. All right. Instead of assume, or instead of, hey, I got it. I'll be okay. Because when you move from that particular aspect, you got to understand one thing about your body. It's unique. God designed it, and it's unique in its own rhythm, pattern, and makeup. But if you move blindly, what you think as a body betrayal, it's a personal betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
It is food for thought, guys. And again, I want to put this out there so you guys can understand the passion that I have behind this, the importance that I'm trying to put in front of you guys. Please go get your blood work. We can do this again in about, let's do this. 24 days, Altair.
Yep. 24 days.
24 days, we can get back together. I have mine. I can share with you right now if you would like. I have my blood work. All right, 24 days. Let's get back together and bring some more people along with you. Okay, because this is, think about what I said earlier. 80% of what I shared with you guys earlier is preventable, but that 80% is not touched without knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
24 days and 10
It's
pounds lighter.
okay, even better, even
Oh, ho,
Yeah.
ho,
even
ho, ho,
better.
ho. Wait,
Hey,
wait, wait, wait,
hey.
wait, 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 wait. 24 days first. We're gonna get to the 10 pounds lighter thing.
Hey, you got 24 days. You can do that 24 days.
Oh no, listen. Don't take it wrong. Oh, don't get it twisted. I'm good. We're gonna do the 10 pounds lighter. But we ain't gonna put that pressure on not just the brothers on the panel, because we talking
No,
through the
no,
phone.
it's not. Listen, okay, so here's the kicker part. This is the thing. When you start getting active, the initial 7 to 10 pounds come off in the first week.
Yeah,
100%,
water
So
weight.
100%.
if you fail to get that done in 24 days, we're gonna jump you. That's it.
All
Real
right, well, I
talk, D.
digress, man. I take back my statement. 24 days, 10 pounds lighter.
I'm 2 for 2.
Hey, I just realized D energy. D is a personal trainer.
Yeah. Oh no. When I tell you personal trainer he is, well, D was very inspiring from afar. Um with all the muscles and all that good stuff, man. But he hard headed when he don't understand that when I say like we can't do too much at one time. Um, but then I take it back because we can. That's the thing.
Right,
We can
right,
do. It's not
right,
too much at one
right,
time. Hey, real
right.
quick, Baldon, let me say this because I got brother Sharp Horn and Cummings here, and I know they all attend the same place of worship as you do. Um, I don't know if y'all have had a health and wellness day at your church site. But I do have the connections and the people and the entities, and I know y'all probably do as well. Y'all more prominent in the community than I am. But we can get a mobile unit out to your church. We can get some volunteers of RNs to volunteer and do the health screening. We can get the hospital and all the other places to donate supplies as well, and then we can do the it's a mobile blood unit and some other stuff, resources that I can get y'all in contact with if you want to set that up, especially during the summer. Guess what? A lot of these things that Michael talking about, situations that's happening to us, research the time of the year when a lot of it takes place, and you'll see it ain't all around Christmas. It's that
No,
hot, that summertime, that where everybody is kids are out of school, people are just like somebody said up here earlier, they're celebrating, and those are the times where they overindulge, they stress eat and all that other stuff as well. So I'd love to be a part of it, man. If we can help set it up out there at y'all location.
Hey, we would love to put something together. It's needed, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
All right, B, it's all yours, man. As we wrap up, any last comments that everybody got? I'll let Mike end the stream, and then we'll take it off from there.
Okay. Well, first of all, man, thank all you guys, man, for the ear. I know several of you guys personally. First time meeting D. It's been a pleasure talking with you, D. The rest of these brothers I see on a weekly basis, man, and these guys have been energy to my life. They've been actually inspiration, motivation to my life. But one thing I just want to make sure ending this, everybody understands: your health is your personal responsibility. Can't nobody do it for you, you
Mm.
know. And until you take it serious, it won't be serious, you know. And that's one thing I really want to lay out there for everybody to understand. And understanding your health is actually your actually starting point for your longevity, for your lineage, and for your legacy. All right, because if you don't maintain that, what are you really actually pushing and trying to hold on to?
Mm.
You know, because pushing for everything else is great, don't get me wrong, man. Hey, some of the stuff I've learned over the last few months, I'm like, okay, they've already been planted there, but how obtainable, or how they, if you're not able to be healthy to enjoy them. And I don't know what just happened. I believe I just lost my sound, so I do apologize.
No, you good?
I'm
I hear
good.
you.
Okay. But I just want to make sure you guys understand that. It's been a pleasure talking with you guys. It's been even more of a pleasure to communicate with not only my friend, my new friend D, but to the fellas that I hang out with once a week. We're gonna probably try to bump that up. I would try to be there Wednesday, but work schedule don't permit me to do so. But it's been a pleasure communicating with you guys, and hopefully this will actually be a transition to some bigger and better things moving forward.
Yes, sir. Hey, look, last but not least, man, we cannot end the stream without which one of you fellas is the prayer warrior. We got to go out here the right way. And I think it's Brother Horn because I heard him pray before. It's resting in my spirit to say that he gonna take us out of here with a word. So, Brother Horn, I'm gonna
Oh
put
yeah.
you up on the big screen, man. Do your thing, bro. Take us out the right way.
And
You
all I
muted.
saw his lips
You
go,
muted.
Heavenly
You
Father.
muted.
He was in full prayer mode.
Father, I just thank you, Father, and we just honor you today, Father. We just thank you for the men's gathering, Father. Father, we just thank you for us being open minded, Father, and for us being vessels for you, Father, to be able to get our health in order, Father. Father, we just thank you for this push, Father. And we just thank you for Mike sharing his testimony with us, Father. It's a testimony, and you always say, Father, that we go through things not for ourselves, but but for other people, Father. And we just thank you for the testimony that Mike given us tonight about his health. And Father, we just pray, Father, that we could be there for him, even even the more. And Father, we just thank you right now for all the men that we join on that text thread every day, Father, that really gives us encouragement to do the things that we need to do. And Father, we just thank you, Father, and we just honor you. We just praise you for what you're doing in the midst of our life. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.
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 Amen. Amen. I think Tariq, you muted as well.
Probably got a phone call or something.
Mike, man, we appreciate you giving us sending us the text message and the link, man, to join you tonight, man. We greatly
Oh yeah.
appreciate it, man. We greatly appreciate it, man. We always say that, no matter who the brother is in our church, man, if someone got something going on, man, we want to support
That's a fact.
Absolutely.
That's a fact. And y'all let Mike know anything that y'all got going on, man. Me and D will definitely be there to support. If it's virtual, D will be there. If it's in person, I'll make sure I show up and represent our network. And anything that y'all want to promote, put out. We're a small platform. We're growing, but we wanna push in any positive stuff that we got out here in the community. So, man, we appreciate y'all. And brother,
it.
Sharp, we praying those millions of dollars of contracts start moving very rapidly
Amen.
for you, bro.
Hey, I
Amen.
receive it, brother.
Amen.
Yes. I'm praying them
Amen.
all the way through, brother.
Amen.
Yes,
God is
sir.
Amen.
faithful,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Appreciate
And,
that.
and brother
Amen.
Larry Cummings, I'm gonna talk to you behind the scenes because me and we on the same bus. You at the front, I'm at the back. You know what I'm saying? We just got to put it all together. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Let's do it. I
All right,
love
let's
that.
do it, man. Let's do it. But look, fellas, this right here has been another episode of Sit Bro with TMAX Network. I am Altariq Hayes, president of TMAX Network. This is my partner, D Awesome One, vice president over here at TMAX Network, man. We got a lot of good stuff coming up. Before I leave, I just want to shout out Comedian Man Man. That's one of my new projects that I'm working with. Comedian Man Man is actually on tour, and he's going around July the 19th. Ahoskie, North Carolina. Comedian Man Man will be at the Gallery Theater. That's a 440 seater that T-Max Network is putting on. And we just hope everyone who's listening to tell somebody in the Hereford County area that we'll be there on July the 19th. So that's my last plug, and we out of here, y'all.
Hey,
Let's
man,
go.
where you find somebody named Man Man in 2025, man? God, can't get over that.
Ah!
Oh man.
Boy, stop it. Hey, look, that's a whole nother conversation, but we'll go from there. All right, man.
Right,
This has been
right.
another episode of Sit Bro. Man, appreciate y'all for coming, man. We out.